Hey everyone, and welcome back to Small Screen Sagas. I'm your host, Nicole, and today I'll be talking about the show from Season 2, Episode 1, entitled Strangers in a Strange Land. Let me tell you, when we finished Season 1, because I think I started watching from in the middle of Season 1, and when Season 1 ended and that bus appeared, I was so excited. I couldn't wait this whole year for this season to come on. So it's very exciting now seeing who's all on the bus. We have some people that seems like they know some information. We see some friendly faces or familiar faces. I believe I'm going to stick with the same format I did for season 1 and just kind of go character by character. And as we get into the newer episodes, episode 4 just aired last night. I have not yet watched it. I plan on watching it once I finish these first 3 of the season, but let's get into it. We're going to keep that same format. Let's start off with the Colony House. So when season 1 ended, there was that storm coming in. They were like, we got to take cover. We don't have time to keep trying this radio. And of course, that's when Jim gets the man on the radio. So we return here where the storm has picked up. It's raining extremely hard. So everyone's trying to take all the supplies back inside the Colony House. But now the electricity's going haywire, glass is breaking, lights are breaking. We do see one of the residents in the Colony House does get glass in her eye. We then go move into Jade, and we see he's kind of lost all hope now because this was his big thing that he thought could work. And he's at the Colony House, and he's trying to just get a smoke, but he can't get any peace and quiet because first trying to get a smoke, he's sitting there minding his own business. He once again sees something weird. Well, actually, before he even sees something weird, the lady with the glass in her eye, she comes up to Jade and she goes, hey, do you think we made it angry? And he's like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, the storm, it came out of nowhere and it's very aggressive and it's just the house and everything's breaking and blah, blah, blah. And this is without them even knowing what's going down in the town with Jim and his house. So he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm about to get stoned. I got one paper left. And just before he lights up, he once again sees the symbol in blood on the wall. And then we see this dummy, an actual little dummy, look at him and scream. And typically Jay gets scared when he sees all these scary things that he's seen so far. But this time he screams back at the dummy. And it's gone. It just disappears. Now let's take note. The dummy he saw looks identical to the dummy that Tabitha and Victor see in that little dungeon, which we'll get to in a little bit. So something's going on with that dummy. It has some significance, especially Victor's reaction, which we'll talk about in a little. But before Jade can light up again, finally he goes outside to get some peace and quiet, and then Ethan interrupts his smoking. And once they start talking, he's like, show me Victor's room. They go up to Victor's room. Jade is being completely disrespectful, like all in his stuff. Yet at the same time, he's like, Victor's been gone for a couple days now. He has to be dead. But Ethan's like, he's not dead. He's on a quest. He's doing his part. We all have our parts. And Jade, although thinks Ethan's weird, he kind of starts listening to him. Because Ethan's talking about the symbols. Well, Jade brings up the symbols, and Ethan goes, hey, symbols could be good, but they also can mean bad things, and they can make you do bad things as well. There's different symbols in each quest. And he says this is a quest, and when we get closer to the end of a quest, it does tend to get scary. And that's when Jade shows Ethan that picture and says, hey, look, there's Victor. So Victor's been here pretty long. Maybe he knows what these symbols mean, since he's also in the picture with the guy holding the notebook that has those symbols in it. Jade and Ethan are sort of like working together now. And I'm liking that someone's actually listening to Ethan. Whether they think this is just kid talk or not, I think Jade is actually going to pay attention to what Ethan's telling him. Then we have Kristi and I believe Mario. I might be pronouncing her name wrong. That's the lady that Kristi hugged at the end, which we can determine that is her fiance that she told Kenny about. So they have this great reunion. I really appreciated us getting to know Mario sort of on her own while she's helping take care of Elgin, which we'll get to next. But she's a nurse. So now we have 2 people in the town that have medical experience. So we didn't know that about Mario before. Her and Kristi reunite. It's going to be a happy, reunion at first probably. And then it's going to be like, oh shit, you're about to be in your worst nightmare type of situation. I can just imagine how that conversation is going to go. Now let's talk about Elgin. So when the bus arrives in town, Elgin wakes up. He just had a nightmare. We don't know what it was about. But when he wakes up and sees where they are, he freaks out. He's like, no. We can't be here. We cannot be here. Bad things are going to happen. So has Elgin been here before? And if he was there before, how did he get out? And now he's back. That would be the worst nightmare. You finally get out and then you wake up and you're back there. That's just torture at that point. So, or did he have a nightmare that felt so real when he woke up and saw where he was? He's like, oh, hell no. It looks exactly like my nightmare. We gotta go. We gotta get out of here. Now, Elgin doesn't really tell anyone anything yet. He's still sort of comprehending his situation. But when he wakes up and Mario asks him, do you know where you are? And he says, do you? Now, us as the audience, we know he doesn't mean, oh yeah, do you know which town or city we're in? He means, do you know where you are? Like, do you know the nightmare that you're about to be in? I think Elgin knows something. He also had a seizure. Now, this is the 3rd person to have a seizure on the show. We saw Ethan have one. We saw Sarah have one. Sarah, I believe, had one twice. And now Elgin has had one. Now, taking those 2 characters that's already had one, Ethan knows more about this place than other people. Or at least he's believing the information that he's seeing. Sarah has some type of connection or knows a little bit more. She's able to hear the voices. She was able to see the boy in white and actually hear him talk to her. So Elgin, you can assume, has some type of special connection to this place, mainly because he knew where he was. He could tell that this town was bad. He knows something. I can't wait till we actually get to sit down and talk to Elgin. Now, him throwing up on the other passenger was pretty gross, especially because that throw up, it looked so real. It went flying. Even though it got on that guy, I'm like, there's more than just him that got that throw up on him. Ew, just the thought of throwing up, it just grosses me out. Now, back at the Matthews house, we had Jim. He ran in trying to see if he can save Tabitha, thinking she's down there. And he does see another chamber, so he sort of gets hope that maybe she went inside. She's not like in this rumble. She made it to safety somehow, another dungeon under their basement, which is true. But while they're looking for her, the house literally falls apart. It falls on top of them with Jim, Tom from the bar, and then 2 of the passengers from the bus. Now, we do see one passenger is able to get out safely because he was already halfway up the stairs when the house came tumbling in. So he was able to get out. He's that same guy that Elgin threw up on that was pretty upset about it. And they kind of made it seem like he was an asshole, but who wouldn't get mad if a stranger threw up on you? That nobody wants to throw up on him, let alone a stranger. Nah, so I get that. We'll learn more about him, hopefully, as time goes on. But as Jim and crew are stuck in there, and Julie's freaking out, and she's worried now that she's lost her mom and her dad, he's like, you have to get us out slowly. And with the sun about to go down, you guys are going to have to leave us here. And hopefully, if we stay quiet, the monsters won't even know we're here. And Donna says, hey, I stayed underground, or I hid for a year before we had the talisman. This used to be an everyday occurrence of finding a hiding spot and hoping the monsters don't find you. And I believe I mentioned in one of the episodes in season 1, yes, the monsters do have special powers. They're able to turn into monsters, but it doesn't seem like they have extra senses as far as smell and hear. It sounds like they can hear and see just as normal as a regular human being. So yeah, if they don't see them and don't hear anything, it's safe to assume that they can hide safely under there. Then we have Tabitha and Victor down in the tunnel. So Victor came to get Tabitha. He said, the boy told me, well, he didn't say the boy. He just said he told me where to find you. I'm assuming it's the boy in white. But he's like, he told me where to find you. Come get you. Now, Tabitha was getting on my nerves a little bit because she was so scared. And I get it. You're scared. But either shut up, get with the program, and let's quietly get out of here. or you can stand here and freak out and just die. Now, I would probably do that because I know I'd be so scared. But you gotta shut up. Like, either you're gonna come and you're gonna be brave. And like Victor says that. He says, I'm scared too, but we both need to be brave. Now, a few weird things that Victor and Tabitha run into. They see a case and there's like a white gown in it. The gown is very clean. It looks brand new. It's clean. And Tabitha's like, what the fuck? So the way Tabitha looked at that gown, first of all, I don't know why she even stopped to open that case. Just keep moving. But it was like a briefcase type of case. Maybe she recognized the case. Because when she looked at the gown, it looked like a nice little white gown that you maybe go to just sleep in or something. Or maybe wear on your honeymoon, whatever the case it may be. I think she recognized that gown. Like, I think it might be from her honeymoon. We'll see if that comes up later on, because just her reaction made me think that maybe it was hers or she recognizes it of some sort. And then a few other things they see the sleeping monsters. Now, the monsters do look like monsters here in their cave. So they have a human form, but their face is of a monster. So they see the sleeping monsters. They see an old TV, a lot of old furniture, a bike, and that's when they see the dummy. And Victor freaks out. And this is the same dummy that Jade saw. So I do want to know what the connection is with this dummy, because that's what freaked Victor out so much. So maybe we'll see it later on in one of his drawings that he drew this dummy before, and it was scary, and he always thought it was a dream, and it turns out it was real. So now it's Tabitha's turn to be brave, because first she was the one freaking out, making so much noise, and I was getting so mad at her. But now she has to comfort Victor and say, we got to keep going. She gets Victor up, like, let's find our way out. But Victor's like, I don't know which way to go. He didn't tell me to go this way. I'm freaked out. I'm scared. But they somehow find their way out. Actually, before they find their way out, they see this weird stone sort of set up like I don't know, like I thought of bowling, because it's set up as like stone pieces, like a Jenga thing. And then a ball comes rolling down and sort of knocks them down like bowling pins. And when Tabitha shines her light, there's like a monster there and like a monster kid. And then the monsters start to wake up. Now, Victor says you shouldn't have done that. I'm like, well, she didn't do shit. Like, she saw the ball roll, and she did look to see where the ball came from. This isn't time to be curious, Tabitha. You should have just kept walking. And Victor does say you shouldn't have done that. So we'll see what comes from that. There's a lot of we'll sees, but they do eventually make it out. It is becoming dark, so they're like, which way back to town? And that's where we leave them. And then, of course, we have Boyd. So Boyd wakes up. He's still stuck in that well. He's calling out for anyone. He's calling out for Sarah. He can't climb up the well. And he tells Sarah, well, he's telling himself. He's like, Sarah, you said we were going to be safe here. This doesn't feel safe. I don't know. Part of me is like, shut up, Boyd, and wait until daytime. Just shut up and be quiet in that hole and wait until daytime. Yet at the same time, once he starts finally calling out again, he does hear a voice. And I thought it was funny because the man's voice is like, are you real? And Boyd goes, yeah, I'm real. Are you fucking real? And the man says, if I help you, promise that you'll help me no matter what. And Boyd agrees. And he says, hurry up and climb because he'll be back soon. So I guess in a way, yeah, Boyd should try to get out of that hole, because if he'll be back soon sounds kind of scary. If Boyd stayed in that hole, whoever came, I'm sure if they're a monster, they would be able to get Boyd in that hole. But once Boyd climbs up, he's in some type of room or area. There's an old man that's like practically dead that's tied to the wall, sort of, sacrifice style, hands up to the sides. But there's also another man that's tied up on the opposite wall that same way, but he clearly looks dead. This man just looks almost dead. And he's like, oh, great. You got a gun. It'll make it easier. I need you to kill me. And I guess that's his favor that he asks for Boyd. If I help you, you help me. This is the promise that Boyd gave him. You will kill me. This man has to have information. We got to know what he knows. What is he doing out there? Who tied him up? He looks so old. How long has he been there? What's going on? Who's the he that's going to come back? It's troubling. Boyd is not in a good position right now. And I guess him going in that tree was not safe, as he said, as we thought it was. It was a faraway tree, and Victor says, you know, sometimes you can go to other places, and this place does not seem safe for Boyd. And then last, let's talk about the bus. So the bus gets here. We sort of talked about the bus, some of the people on the bus. They're not trying to hear what they're saying, especially the bus driver. She's not, I don't want to say she don't care, but she don't care. She's like, let the emergency services handle all this that's going on. We got to go back. We got to schedule to stick to. And eventually even Donna telling her everything, she's like, I don't want to hear that. You're crazy. And after her starting the bus back up again, because she keeps going on and on about trying to get everyone on the bus, but we have people dancing in the rainwater. We have people trying to help Jim and his family. So when she starts that bus up and tells everyone to get on, or they're just going to get left, Donna says, like, you're going to get people killed. If you guys stay out when the sun goes down, you will die. And Donna shoots out the tire. That just caused more chaos. People start screaming. A couple people ran off, including Elgin. Fatima and Ellis run after a couple people that ran off. And that's when Kenny shoots one more time in the air and tells everyone, get inside the diner now. I understand from these people on the bus what they feel. They're probably like, okay, we're being now held hostage. But at the same time, if someone told me, you stay outside, you're going to die, let me just listen for a few minutes, okay? I mean, I would think, but at the same time, who knows what we would do. I can say this because I'm watching the show, but I would like to think I would give them a minute and let me listen to exactly what they're saying and go from there. I'll be back with the next recap on season 2, episode 2 next. So if you guys want to be part of the podcast, hit me up, host@theverdictsend.com. That's HOST@theverdictsend.com. And I'll be sure to discuss it on the podcast. All right. Have a good one. Bye.